All right, in this video, we are going to talk about the drive and drop combo. So when you're watching high-level players play or the pros play, you may see them serve and the return comes back, and you may see them actually drive that third shot. Now, when they are driving this ball, they are not going for a winner, but the reason why they are driving it is to develop a much easier fifth shot that they can drop and then come in on. Now, when you see them drive that third shot, they for sure are looking at something to attack again, but if it's just a ball that's low and in front of them, they're going to easily drop that ball to come in so that they could get to the non-volley zone line. So in this video, we are going to show you a few exercises that you can do with a practice partner so that you can practice your third shot drive and the person at the net can practice their volleys. All right, so like I mentioned earlier, sometimes you'll see high-level players elect to do a third shot drive instead of a third shot drop. Let's talk about now the two scenarios in which they would do that. Number one is if the returner is not all the way up at the non-volley zone line, they may elect to drive it. Now, doing this is a very smart play because that returner is not all the way up at the line and is going to have a lot harder time with the ball coming at their feet. Number two, sometimes the returns coming back are hard to manage. Sometimes they have a lot of spin, a lot of pace, and they're deep. And sometimes you'll see high-level players just drive the ball low if they can to get it over, and that next ball that is going to be volleyed from the person at the non-volley zone is going to be a little bit weaker than that first shot. Now they can drop the next shot, which would be their fifth shot, and then they can play out the point from there. So a couple key things to remember when you are driving the ball is, number one, you want to keep the ball as low to the net as possible while still hitting it at a high percentage. A lot of players that I see hitting a third shot drive, they're trying to hit it as hard as they can, but it goes into the net or it goes really, really high where the person at the non-volley zone is smacking it down, okay? The most important thing when we're hitting a third shot drive is to keep that ball low to the net, and even if it's a medium pace drive and not really hard, that's still an effective shot. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have Katrina up at the non-volley zone. She's going to feed me kind of like a deeper return, which would be the return, and then I'm going to drive the ball, and decision making is really important after that drive, okay? So again, I'm gonna drive this first ball, and then I'm going to see what happens with her volley. If that volley pushes it deep again, I have to stay back, okay? And I might drive it again or I might drop it, all right? So secondly, if I drive that ball and it's a very weak ball and that ball lands somewhere mid-court, I can come in, and if it's a high bounce, maybe I could drive it again. Or if it's, you know, mid-court in that transition area and it's low, I might have to just elect to drop it, okay? That's a better choice. So just decision making wise, it's really important that you recognize height of the ball and height of the bounce, okay? After my drive, if that volley creates a high bounce, maybe I'm still in attack mode and I keep going, keep driving. But if it's a low bounce, I want to make sure that I try to make good decisions and try to drop that ball. All right, so now Katrina's gonna feed it and we're gonna play a couple points out. Okay. All right, so in that example there, I hit a pretty good drive. I forced a lower volley, probably around net level there. And all she could do with that volley is kind of push it over here. And that was a very, very low ball. So you saw me automatically elect to drop it because it's a lower contact ball, but we'll see it again. Okay. All right, so that was a pretty low drive there initially with good pace. She hit a solid volley back, but you know, kind of sat mid-court here. Now that one, I may probably been able to drive that, but just to play it safe, I dropped it. Now remember, if I get something a little bit higher, I might want to be aggressive on that fifth shot, but we'll play a few more to kind of show you my decision making. All right, so like you saw right there, she kind of got jammed up on that dominant side, okay, kind of towards her right hip there. Another reason why driving the ball every now and then is really good is because you can catch somebody in a really hard position if you have good targets. All right, when I'm driving the ball, I am trying to keep it low to the net, but if you can put it in a spot where they're stretching over here to the left or somewhere around here, kind of towards their dominant side, all right, over here on this wing, you can catch players off guard a little bit and they could have very weak replies. And this is why it's a really good thing to drive it every once in a while as well. Okay. All right, so that's another one there where I had a short volley fourth shot reply, and then I chose to drop it because it's leading me in and it's a low contact point. All right, so that was a really good example. When you get really weak replies that are very high, you can keep attacking. If your opponent does not keep the ball down or keep the ball deep, you want to be able to stay on the offense and keep your foot on the gas. All right, so again, if they send me higher balls, I'm gonna keep attacking until they show me or give me something that is harder for me to attack, and that is if they send me a ball at my feet low or they keep it deep. Hi, if you're enjoying this content, go ahead and give this video a like and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you're interested in exclusive on-court training with me, go ahead and go to brionespickleball.com/coaching. Now, let's get right back to the video. All right, so now for this exercise, we are going to put it together with your serve. Remember, you or your partner will be serving, and as that return comes back, you will have to make that decision if you are going to drive it or drop it. Obviously, in this exercise and this drill, we are practicing a third shot drive. So again, I'm focused on keeping the ball low, especially if my opponent there is not all the way up at the non-volley zone line. I want to do my best to get that ball dipping down at her feet. Okay, so we're going to play out a couple points here and show you that. All right, so that was a little bit of an extreme example, but if your opponent cannot get in on the return and they are well back in that transition zone, you have to drive it at that point. Don't elect to drop it then. That's definitely when you want to hit your drive and then come on in. Again, that was a really good example of me hitting a really low drive. Now I did have some pace on it, but it was dipping down below the net, which forced my opponent on a really low volley, which again, in turn, gave me a really easy fifth shot drop. All right, last one here. All right, so to recap, the drive and drop combo is a very common play that high-level players use to get to that non-volley zone. If your third shot drops are really struggling, or you feel like the return is really tough and it's hard to drop it off that return, go ahead and hit a nice solid drive, keep it low to the net, and then look for a weak reply on their fourth shot volley. All right, if you get something in front of you, be quick to move in. Now we can hit that drop on that fifth shot and come right to the net. Hopefully this video was very helpful to you. Go ahead and leave a comment below if you have any questions or comments. We'll see you in the next video. For exclusive pickleball content from me, check out BrionesPickleball.com. For awesome pickleball paddles like this one, make sure to check the link in the description below. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Live your life within the moment, and don't go wait until the morning. You never know when it is over. All that I know is we'll get older. So let us dance this night away.